The story is very funny because
Okay.
3 years ago,
Uh-huh.
more or less, I was watching TV with my husband. We were drinking a little wine, and suddenly a message comes to my phone.
Uh-huh.
And it says, my name is Marcurselli. I just went to the San Diego Museum of Art. I do love your work, and I would love to meet you, and maybe we can do something together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just this night at San Diego. Tomorrow I'm leaving for New York because he lives in New York most of the time. I came from Los Angeles because I was working there. So can you come near the museum and have a drink with me?
Yeah.
And of course I said, no, who is this one? No, 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 I don't know him. It was like, I don't know, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I said, no, I'm not going there. Oh, thank you very much. Then I will write to you later on.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Makes
So,
sense.
of course, the curiosity killed the cat. So I went and Googled him, Marc Urselli. And, wow, this guy is, it's the real thing.
Uh-huh.
So he won 3 Grammys. He was nominated for 7 Grammys. He is a composer. He mixes sounds for very important people in the music world.
Right, right.
And I said, wow, why is this guy
Yeah.
inviting me or wants to meet me?
Right.
I felt like maybe he's wrong.
Maybe it's just a little uncanny. or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we began
Uh-huh.
sending us emails. Then we talk by the phone, on the phone. And little by little, we began getting to know each other.
Uh-huh.
And he said, what about a collaboration? After 1 year, maybe?
Yeah.
I met him in the middle of the way between Los Angeles and San Diego. And when I saw him, oh my God, this guy is so young and so handsome. And the conversation was lovely. He is very grounded, very calm. He's the way he talks, you can see the cool. Right?
Not excessively show busy.
No, okay, that's when we are talking
Yeah.
and when we are creating. Okay? He's Swiss Italian. So when the artist is talking, he's very passionate and very creative. When the Swiss is talking, then no, I am a great artist. I need this. I want this. What would be the object or the media or whatever that can bring us together? So we thought about the sound cones because, of course, I could paint the sound cone. One of the things that are the sound cones are made of, it's paper. So and I can move them or do sounds for the these things to tell maybe the same story that you're painting. So that was
Just to kind of
great object.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You had no doubt that you didn't feel like it's a hard surface to paint on or it's difficult.
I didn't know a thing.
You just sort of like, I'll see.
Yeah, I bought the smallest one, and you can see it at the museum.
Yeah.
It's the smallest one is the
angel.
Cinzantle, the angel with all the birds on the hair.
That was the first one.
That was the first one because I wanted to check. Of course, I knew that egg tempera, impossible, because egg tempera would crack. Right?
On that surface.
So, I go upstairs where I have everything that I don't use in so many years. And there comes the acrylics and the oils and the color pencils, whatever.
So you figured out acrylics would be the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are, how do you say? plastic.
Yeah,
and
it's the
they
most
can
malleable paint.
adapt to that. So first I say yes, but I need to use yeso, the gesso or the gesso. And so I do that for the painting, and I painted, and it was like, okay, this is good. Suddenly we said, if my main thing has been always the duality. So life and death, good and bad, war and peace.
Yeah.
There is always this pulse because everything alive has a pulse, the world, the universe, everything. So we say, well, maybe a heart. That would be the thread to paint many images, but always with this heartbeat. Be it in music, be it in the heartbeat. And it was nice because he respected my view as an image painter. So every time I finished a sound cone painting, I sent him the photos. First, I sent the whole thing to New York for him to figure it out, how to make it sound. And he began saying exactly the same story, but with sound. If you go there and listen, it's a loop.
Yes, right.
It's like 7 minutes, but it's beautiful because it begins exactly with life, the baby,
Right.
crying, the little cat, of course, that my cat, so and you say meow meow, okay, and then suddenly it moves to the world that is so complicated, all the sounds of the city, of the birds, and then this baby lives his life or her life and goes to the other part when he dies. And then you
hear the code blue.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
and he's dead. But again, the next part, you hear a harp and the eternal return begins. So you go to the utopian peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another baby is born, and the same story comes and goes. From the beginning, we thought that we needed this
Something.
yes, these bigger pieces to be the main piece for the whole show.
If you get the idea of the life cycle and the imagery, you will start hearing it as well in the sound.
Yes, and then if you listen to the baby crying, you go to this piece and the cat meowing and heart dying.
Yeah, there's other things that come in.
Yes, because you have the utopian piece and
the couple.
the other, that's the war. Yeah. And the title is very important for me because I know that human beings have never been in peace. Never. There has always been war here, there, or everywhere. And now we're living that. It's because human beings want more power or territory or religion or whatever. And I remember, you remember the Kubrick 2001.
Yeah.
That scene where our ancestor finds the femur and he understands that that's a weapon to kill the others.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, I can use this for that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Peace is always a kind of an ideal or a hope, but it doesn't really,
we wish.
It's not realized.
Yes.
But yeah, that painting's quite powerful with the blood dripping down. And then, I thought you had really interesting title, very poetic title on that piece.
Yes, I had never been able to tame you, war.
Right.
War.
Yeah. But it's sort of like you say it in a very first person way, which makes it personal, but you're also meaning that you're speaking for.
For Mother Earth,
Yeah.
for Mother Nature.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that really resonates.
Especially now.
Yeah. And now with all these wars going on.